everybody. After our July hiatus, the Oshkosh Beer Blog and Beer Show is back in action.
And you're Adam Carlson.
I'm Adam Carlson from Untitled Chapter.
I'm Lee from the Oshkosh Beer Blog. So what did you do on your month off?
Oh, you know, took a long vacation and...
just hung out?
Yeah,
just took it easy?
Yeah. No, mostly worked, actually.
Yeah. Not me.
Yeah.
I just mostly hung around and drank beer.
You had quite a few days off planned.
Yeah, we got around a little bit. We went to Madison, hit some, breweries out there. Mm-hmm. We were up at Door County, went to Door County Brewing Company. That was interesting.
You said that was cool,
Yeah, that was cool. We were in Milwaukee, hit some of the new places down there.
Sure,
we got around. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was good. But it's good to be back too.
You didn't make it down to New Glarus, which was the brewery we are featuring today.
Yeah. So we have New Glarus Brewing Company of New Glarus, Wisconsin.
Yes.
And we have your absolute favorite style of beer
here,
apparently.
Smoked beer. Yep.
So this is Smoke on the Porter, a smoked porter, obviously. They did this beer in 2007.
Okay.
And then it hasn't been brewed since, until 2016.
Yeah, somebody was saying that they had brewed this before. So
this is a 6% ABV porter.
Okay.
And then they use smoked. It's cold smoked cherry wood. They cold smoke the malt with cherry wood.
Okay. How does that work?
Cold smoking?
Yeah.
Well, I think
they
cold smoking. I know with meats they keep
temperatures.
that temperature below I think it's below 90.
Okay.
So it doesn't generate a lot of heat. You don't get a
Yeah.
lot of crackling and stuff
So
like
you
that.
get that deep smoke flavor instead of that roasted.
Yeah.
Kind of torched.
But you can definitely, the smoke is definitely here.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a lighter beer, so.
I let these warm up a little bit because I think, especially with a lot of smoked beers, but this one in particular, it almost gets like a metallic flavor if they're not, they don't come down to temperature.
Yep.
But you're not a fan of smoked beers, are you?
I'm not, no. But this actually is not too bad. It's it could come off as just some really intensely roasted malt.
Yeah.
It doesn't come off as kind of like that Schlenkerla, German like.
Right, that Franconian.
Yeah,
I'm
bacon.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I was just thinking, I'm a fan of smoked beers. I like them.
Yeah.
And when you have Schlenkerla, that's a German beer that's kind of like the smoked beers.
Mm-hmm.
That has that bacon thing.
Yeah.
And then have you ever had Alaskan smoked porter?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
That one always reminds me of more like a campfire.
Uh-huh.
And I can't remember might be alderwood or something. I know it's a different wood. They're not using that beech wood that they use.
Well, and those beers have serious following, serious cult-like followings. So there's a definite niche that this style of beer appeals to. But
it's interesting though the way that the different wood influences and probably the smoking method influences the beer. Because to me, the smoke in this one, tastes almost like a little bit sweeter.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because there's some chocolate malt going on.
And to me, this is kind of like a training wheels smoked beer. I don't think this is too intense or too over the top.
No.
I would actually drink this. So, this is one to check out if you want to, dip a toe in the world of smoked beer.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those things. It's kind of like whether you're into hoppy beers or not. It's kind of a taste that's either going to agree with you or not. But
yeah, but it's not like peated Scotch levels like some of those German styles. And
I like this.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes.
Why we were away during the month of July, there was like a flurry of these, consolidations, big breweries buying small breweries, private equity coming into these breweries and stuff like that. Now this is a brewery, New Glarus, that's been fiercely independent.
Yes.
And they talk about it. They're opposed to all that kind of stuff. What do you think would happen? I mean, and there's been a lot of these breweries that also take that stance that end up being bought.
Yeah, well, I think it's hard when somebody slides you a sheet of paper across this table with more zeros than you've ever seen in your life on it. I think, try being in that position and saying no.
Say no to $1 billion.
Your morals all of a sudden become very very fluid at that point. But good on those who haven't sold any interest to private companies.
So what do you think would happen? I mean, this brewery has a special following, I think, in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if they did
if they sold out to like an InBev or something like that, I don't think too much would change. I just think that Spotted Cow would become a national brand, a la like Summer Shandy or Leinenkugels.
Do you think there'd be a backlash in Wisconsin?
I think there would be to a degree, but I think Spotted Cow is such a huge brand for them with the average beer drinker in Wisconsin, because really, I would say 99% of the population does not think of Spotted Cow as a craft beer. It's just been, beat into us that it's just there next to everything else on the shelf, and I don't think the vast majority of people would care because they don't even think of it as craft beer.
I think you're right. I the way Spotted Cow is, and that's the beer that really drives the large production of this brewery. I think a lot of those Spotted Cow drinkers probably wouldn't
wouldn't miss a beat.
No. There might be a hiccup there, but I think it would just go right on. Me personally, I hope it never happens. I like
agree.
the fact, I like their approach. Now they're employee owned as well.
Yeah.
So I hope they can maintain what they've got going there.
Yeah. Cool. No, I agree. They seem pretty principled. I'd be surprised if they ever. I could see them. The problem is at some point you have to sell.
Yeah.
You can't. I guess if you're employee owned, you can.
Well, I think that's part of their transition to eventually exit the brewery is to have the. But then again, New Belgium is employee owned now, and there's been a lot of talk about what may happen with them. So it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't happen though.
I agree. It's very interesting to see this brewery just grow and grow and grow, and and they're doing it the right way always.
Yeah. Okay, so we have some questions this week.
We're gonna try some new stuff with the show. User and viewer submitted questions.
And I guess we should say, if anybody's got questions, just most of the people I think that watch this are in contact with us via Facebook.
One of us or the other. So
there's also the comment sections of the YouTube thing. One way or another we'll get.
Drop us a line, and I think we're gonna try and get some lead time out there with which beer we'll be doing coming up, and you can
we'll come up with a
ask us a question. Yeah.
But this week, our first question is from Ricky Steven Lashinsky, and I'm probably going to butcher everybody's name, but so Ricky asked, "What's the next New Glarus R&D release?" And that's the
Champ du Blanc.
Yeah, and that comes out August. They're doing it. They're releasing it August 12th and 13th.
Yeah, it's this weekend.
Yeah, to coincide with Great Taste of the Midwest. That's that big, beer fest in Madison, held by the Madison Brewers and Tasters. Brewers and Tasters Guild.
Yeah. So with this release, you have to get it at the brewery. You cannot walk into Festival Foods and get it or anywhere else. No. It's a very finite amount of beer. So you go there and you wait in line and you get your. Usually you can buy 2 bottles at a time, and it's.
So it's a sour blonde ale.
Yeah.
Aged on Chardonnay grapes.
Yes, and I think it was aged. They said for 10 months in oak, and it's 10% alcohol. I don't think that's what the Belgians generally had in mind with the Goose style beer.
I tell you, that's going to be something. That comes out of the Wild Fruit Cave.
Yeah.
That part of the brewery, the old Riverside Brewery.
Mm-hmm. Which we had a chance to tour.
Yeah. That should be a really interesting beer. Okay, here's a name I know I can say. Bobby Ontario. Do you know Bobby Ontario?
I do.
Okay, no more needs to be said. If it doesn't take too much time away from the beer, talk about the beer garden and some of the things they have put out in there. Well, if you haven't been to the beer garden, so they have 2 breweries now. The older brewery, the Riverside Brewery, and then the new Hilltop Brewery, which was completed in 2009. And at the Hilltop Brewery, they have this beer garden, and I don't even know how to describe it really. It looks like the ruins of an old Bavarian brewing village.
Exactly.
Or something.
That's to a T what it looks like.
It's really something.
It's very cool, kind of old world Bavaria, as you said.
But it's got this almost, I don't know, steampunk kind of vent.
It's
got that
repurposed brewery equipment.
Yeah, there's that
old
big
stuff.
Control thing out there.
And the water dispenser.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It's a very beautiful setting. The ruins that we'd mentioned are kind of you're on a ridge and you're kind of overlooking some of that stuff as well.
Yeah, it looks down onto that
fields and New Glarus is just very pretty in general. It's kind of a
it's a cool town.
Alpine
Swiss town.
Yeah, city.
We're not doing it justice. I'll see if I can get some pictures. I think I have some pictures at home, and I'll squeeze them into these videos.
They've done a very good job.
Yeah, it's cool. Ben Sadak. Ben, I'm sorry, I know I'm ruining your name. You might discuss the Hard Hat Tour at New Glarus if you've ever been on it. I just signed up for it, and it's booking out until spring next year. Must be a pretty sweet tour. Well, we were on
Yeah.
kind of extended,
Yeah.
and it's great.
Yeah.
That tour itself is like 3 hours long.
They go into great detail, and you get to see everything from start to finish. And you know, I think all their tour representatives are just super well versed in the goings on at New Glarus, and they make it a lot of fun too.
Yeah, and it takes you through both breweries. It takes you through the new one, which, I mean, it's a really impressive looking place if you've never been in there. I mean, it's a big production brewery, but it looks really nice. They have
Yeah.
the copper kettles and all that. And then it takes you into the old Riverside Brewery, which is where they're doing all the sour beers.
Yeah, which is
And they have
very cool.
the cool ship down there,
Yeah.
which, I mean, it's pretty amazing. And I think along with they only let 15 people go on any of these tours.
Yeah.
Along with it, they do like a beer and cheese tasting. It's a long tour. It's a lot of fun though.
Yep. Exactly.
And I looked. He said it's out till spring. I think there's some dates available in January now.
Oh, really?
But that's how popular it is. I mean, you can't even get into the thing until. Okay, and finally, Mark Hansen from Texas. You know where this is going to go. Why won't they ship to other states? UPS gets expensive after a while. You know, they did.
Yeah.
Up until 2002. I
Yeah.
think they pulled back and they stopped shipping to other states.
Probably the best decision they've ever made.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they could anymore.
Yeah.
At least at this point. Like last year or 2014.
Oh, they were shipping. They weren't distributing.
They were distributing.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they were distributing like in Illinois, and then that whole thing
Yeah.
went south on them, and they brought everything back here. But
Yeah.
like, they did like 100 and almost 200,000 barrels last year.
Yeah.
And that's just in Wisconsin. I mean, if you were going to distribute in other states, you'd have to up that production substantially, especially with the reputation they have at this point.
Well, I think there's something to be said for the mystique of only being available in Wisconsin. I'm sure they're content with it. I mean,
And that creates a sort of scarcity.
Yeah.
That
well, and I think another thing is that they're always going to have a leg up in this market when they put out a new beer. Doesn't matter how crowded the shelf gets. Being New Glarus, they're always going to get a shot to throw another beer out there, another new beer out there. And there's still room to grow, and a lot of people are still moving to craft beer in Wisconsin. And New Glarus is going to have, I think, plenty of room to grow just in the state.
I just thought, okay, so 2014 they did like 160,000, right around there. I'm probably fudging that by a couple thousand barrels, but I know it was like 160,000 barrels. So in a year they added 30,000 barrels, at least to their thing. I mean, I don't know if you distributed it in Illinois, that you'd have growth you could never.
Well, as when we took this tour of New Glarus, we went with a distributorship. Lee and I did, and they talked about the time that one of the top accounts in the whole state for Spotted Cow was in Kenosha, and was due to the
crossover.
People from Illinois coming across the border to stock up on Spotted Cow. So really, they don't need to do it. They can.
And it's kind of fun. I mean, you don't see people like running down to Illinois to get beer like that.
No,
I mean, I'm sure it happens, but
Yeah, not too much.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's what we've got for you. Welcome back.
It's
good to be here.
Now you started off with a smoked beer.
Yeah, great.
Cool.
Hey, cheers.
Pros.